Hello! Okay, so we're not doing a training plan makeover this week. I'll probably get back to that next week. We'll see. But in full transparency, I frankly needed to make this resource for the crew anyway. I've been meaning to do it. And also, I think this is super useful for you, watcher, viewer. I'm used to saying listener on my podcast. But so, real quick before I get into this, when I say 4 levels of climbing training, you're probably thinking like, V0 to V what? Would we do level blah blah blah? V blah 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 to blah blah blah. We do level 2. No. This is a way of conceptualizing your climbing training in terms of the level of complexity you can personally handle based on whatever is going on in your life, the level of complexity you're willing to commit to. And like you could be a more advanced climber that's like, I got a lot of shit going on. We're doing level 1. Or you could be like a climber that's only been climbing for 6 months and be like, nope, I'm ready to do like level 4 type stuff. So this is like a very broad view of how to increase climbing training complexity and sort of like tailor how much you can expect yourself to do so that you don't feel like there's either you're not training or you're doing the perfect training plan. There's actually shades in between, so that's kind of the whole purpose of this. So let us begin. All right. So the goal, adding thoughtful details to your training without overcomplicating it. I think everyone, no matter how busy you are, can be doing like level 4 type training as long as you pick the right things to focus on. Like I have one-on-one clients, right? Like some of them have like 2 small kids. They work an incredibly demanding job. They're like MDs. They run their own businesses, right? Like they have every reason to be like, I shan't be having any complexity ever. And they still are like applying a level 4 amount of training, right? Like they're applying a level 4 amount of complexity and that's actually really working well for them. So level 4 doesn't mean time consuming. It just means how detailed you want to be. Okay, let us begin for real this time. So level 1 is very DIY friendly. So this is like base level, how much do we want to progress? So this is like, are we going rock climbing 2 or 3 times a week? And are we meeting just like minimum FDA physical activity recommendations? Are we going rock climbing? Are we doing some kind of resistance training, something that like, picking up heavy things, putting them down? Are we getting some cardio done each week? I didn't list like the minimum FDA physical activity requirements, and I don't know them off the top of my head, but I remember you just go look them up. They're like pretty chill. If you're going climbing 2 to 3 times a week and then you like do a little bit of like weightlifting or something, you're probably like hitting level 1. This is where a lot of people will start. This is a great place to be. This means that you're doing an activity that's you find enjoyable, and this means that you are like doing what you need to be a healthy individual that's focused on, longevity, which is great. So this is very DIY friendly. I think this is something you can very much do on your own. You don't need any professional help, if you will. So that's level 1. Okay, so level 2 is like DIY mode with a few resources. So maybe if you're like, okay, I feel like I'm solid at level 1, then level 2, I would say, is like maybe half of your climbing sessions have a specific focus. So sometimes you're just like going climbing for fun, and then one time a week you're like, the whole point of this session is to work on slab, or the whole point of this session is I'm going to actually like try to do some endurance training or whatever. And then your strength training is a little bit more organized. So it would include things like push, pull, hinge, squat, and you are actually progressively overloading. So you have kind of like some kind of more organized strength programming that gives you progression. So this, I think, is also something you could totally DIY with like a couple of internet resources. I think that's like super manageable. So here's like how you would get to level 2. You would pick a goal or theme or intention for like 1 or 2 climbing sessions per week. Maybe you're like, I'm going to get better at footwork. Or you're like, I always climb on ropes, so one time a week I'm actually going to try hard boulder problems. And like learn basic strength training concepts and like apply them, right? Like there's plenty of free strength training programs out there. Just look for hinge, push, pull, squat. And then you can also probably look on my podcast. We had like did a whole series on strength training. It was like a strength training Q&A that I think you'll find really useful. I will try to link that in the description if I don't forget. So that's how to get to level 2. So level 2, also very doable on your own. You could probably do that like for free. You could just find some stuff, apply it, and like that's that. Okay, level 3. So level 3 is where you might start needing some help. You might like engage with more paid resources, that type of thing. So level 3 would be like your program includes some endurance work, some working on hard moves, preferably some like hard bouldering. You're also doing some probably focused movement work via movement skill drills, and activities that build mental game and tactical skills. So some things you'll need to be able to do to be like a level 3 trainee are like, you need to be able to like identify some movement gaps, or at least be able to go like, that movement drill I think would help me. I will do it 10 minutes every climbing session, right? Like you need to be able to like think about how you move on the wall and be able to at least pick out what will be helpful. Side note, if you want to be able to diagnose movement gaps, go take the fast track movement course, because the whole point of that course is learning some like base level movement skill concepts, and then determining what gaps you have and like how to work on those gaps. So it's completely free, and I took eons to make it. I think it took me like 6 months to put it all together, and that shit is for free. So you should go take it if you haven't taken it already. It's very good. Okay, I also think an understanding of nonlinear programming is helpful. So basically that's the idea of programming where you're like, I do strength, power, endurance, skill work inside of like a weekly-ish cycle, versus being like, I do 6 weeks of endurance training, I will link to like a whole podcast series about nonlinear programming if you're like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard these words in my life. That's okay, but you'll like it. You'll think it's great. Okay, so level 3, that's where what we got going on there. So how to get to level 3 kind of went into that a little bit. So big things, learn about nonlinear programming, pick some movement skill drills. If you want to diagnose your movement skill gaps, take the fast track movement course. And then also like pick some activities that challenge you mentally and tactically. Not going to go into exactly what that means here. But you know, and if you're like, whoa, I don't even know what that looks like. I will link to some, I'll be linking a bunch of podcast episodes that you can kind of like dig into here. Okay. So level 4 is where you kind of take this, like, so this is, you're getting your programming done. It's good. You're doing the thing. Level 4 is where you are going to have like more specific little layered goals on top of it. So imagine like, and for my clients inside of the crew, so this would be you doing the programming. If you're like, I'm just I'm like, I can handle a level 3 amount of complexity where the goal is like, just get the shit done and do the program, right? Because the crew programming includes all of this. So this is all built in for you. So if you're like, the level of complexity I can handle is level 3, and you're just like, I'm gonna get the shit done, that's fine. Level 4 is where you would add maybe like some like flair on top of that. So I'm gonna go into what that means, but like, it might mean you're gonna be, in addition, trying to work on an activity that helps you with your fear management skills. It might mean that you're trying to get better at flashing boulders. It might mean that you really want to focus on developing body tension, and you want to have like a weekly reflection on all of these things. So that's level 4, and that would be you having a Forgotten 5 framework. So all of my one-on-one clients are like up here at level 4. And then if you're in the crew, you can be at level 3. And if like all of these work, right? That's the other thing, is like all of these are excellent. At a base level, remember, we're starting with, I get exercise done and and do a fun hobby. So that's beautiful. So all of this is just making it better and better. So all my one-on-one clients, we're doing level 4 stuff. Crew members, we are doing, you can be at level 3, or if you're like, nope, I want to have like a Forgotten 5 framework and like really dig in and like do some more specific tailoring to me, then you can do that up here. But again, both are great. These will likely get you results more quickly if you have the resources to engage with this level of complexity. Okay, so speaking of the crew, quick announcement. Enrollment is going to open on June 23rd. I'm doing a workshop for crew members on June 18th. Information about that will be below, and I'm literally just putting the Zoom link out there. Like, if you want to come, you can just come. That's it. So crew members, this is literally like the workshops. You're just getting to see what we do in our workshops inside the crew. It's like a sneak peek. The topic we're going to be covering is how to break into new boulder grades. So if you're the kind of person that's like, wow, I can do every single boulder at XYZ grade, but as soon as I try the next grade up, it feels horrible. That is exactly the problem we are working on in this workshop. So you should totally come if you can make it. It is at, I can't remember if it's 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Mountain Time, but the correct time will be in the description. Also, I decided I'm doing, for simplicity purposes, I am not doing a wait list. So spots are going to be very limited. I think I need to do some math, but I am definitely letting in no more than 15 people. And it's probably going to be more like 10 to 12, and there's going to be probably 5 or less VIP spots that are open. So bottom line, 10 a.m. Mountain Time on June 23rd. If you want in the crew, I would move fast. And spots are open for about a week, if not before they just get completely full. So that's what's going on there. Okay, here's just a little bit of information about the crew. If you want any additional details, please just respond to this email and let me know. I'm happy to answer your questions. You can also go to my website and just click on the link that says the crew in the top bar, and you can get all of the information you could ever want about how the crew works. Okay, so back to getting to level 4, we're going to use the Forgotten 5 framework. So this is basically just setting one overall skill goal and then having a regular process goal that you want to do. So I'm going to link you to I did a whole separate video about how to use the Forgotten 5 and what that means. But that basically is this is kind of like the cherry on top. So it's okay, we're going to get our training done, and also we're going to, on a weekly basis, reflect on how are we doing with that process goal of trying to feel more comfortable clipping, where maybe this is just to give an example. So maybe your goal is you get really stressed out whenever you have to clip on a lead route, right? Whenever you're clipping, you can feel your heart rate increase and you don't clip in a calm way. So maybe your goal is become a calmer clipper. And then that's a whole workshop in and of itself. Become a calmer clipper. And then your process goal is I take 3 deep breaths as I am clipping, and try to calm myself down at every clip. And then you would reflect on that on a weekly basis to be am I doing that? How's that going? What progress are we making? And you're just paying extra special attention to it. And when I say weekly reflection process, if you're in the crew or in my one-on-one coaching, I literally send you a weekly reflection form for you to reflect on how you are doing with your Forgotten 5 goals, because weekly reflection breeds so much progress. It's incredibly effective. And that's why I'm everyone's doing it. We're all doing it. I do it every week. My clients are doing it every week. This is what we're doing. Okay. All right. And this is what a Forgotten 5 framework looks like. This is literally what I ask people to fill out inside of the crew. And we talk about how to pick these goals and all the things. Oh, well, that needs reformatable. But so that's what that looks like. Okay. Anywho, I hope that helps. I hope you understand what it looks like to increase complexity. I hope this gives you a broad overview. So what I would challenge you to do is just decide and you can move up and down between these things, right? There are going to be times in your life where you're yeah, level 2's fine. I don't have the bandwidth for anything more complicated than that. And that's beautiful. But just think about where you're at and where you want to be. And sometimes you might be yeah, I want to be level 4. And other times you're level 1 right now is fine. I am working on finding a new job, So just make that decision for yourself, and then what you need to do in order to have that level of complexity. Okay, this has gone on longer than I thought it would, but I hope you find this helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about the crew. Shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer your questions, and come to the workshop on June 18th. It's going to be a blast. Okay, that's all I have for you. Have a great week.